Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to begin the final. Hanemdar Mir Marzala. Sizler, Dayan Sizdarma. Now, in the red corner, Leone. In the under 60 kilogram division, Daiki Onekura.
Endi final, яғни ақтық кездесулерді бастаймыз. Қызыл бұрышқа Leone командасын шақырамыз.
In the under 65 kilogram division, Leone Igembe. In the under 70 kilogram division, Owen Jones. In the under 76 kilogram division, Kenta Iwamoto. In the under 83 kilogram division, PJ the Butter Panther Barr. In the under 91 kilogram division, Luca. And in the above 91 kilogram division, Declan Moody. And their opponent in the blue corner, Universal Fighters. In the under 60 kilogram division, Magomed Bektemiev.
Endi көк бұрышқа Дағыстанның командасын шақырамыз. Universal Fighters.
In the under 65 kilogram division, Zahur Ahmedov. In the under 70 kilogram division, Gassan Temyev. In the under 76. In the under 83 kilogram division, Adilov Abdul-Zalil. In the under 91 kilogram division, Magomed Abdul-Qadirov. And in the above 91 kilogram division, Ruslan Abdullayev. We now invite the manager of Leone, Valery Krugla, and the manager of Universal Fighters, Magomed Abdul-Qadirov, as well as Chief Judge Oljas Doshanov for the drawing of lots.
Endi жеңілбегенсін өткізу үшін ортаға екі команданың менеджерлері және де турниріміздің төрешілер алқасының төрағасы Oljas Doshanov мырзаларына
1 kilogram division. Then, the under 76 kilos. Under 70 kilos. Under 91 kilos. Under 60 kilos. and under 83 kilos. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final round to decide who will go to the Champions League in 2025. Athletes, you may be seated.
Құрметті қонақтар мен мырзалар, финалымыздағы бірінші жұптағы жауынгерлерді таныстырып өтейін. Алпыс бес келі салмақ дәрежесі қызыл бұрыштағы жауынгер Алихан Игенбек. Көк бұрышта Заур Ахмедов.
All right, Jake, this is it now. This is our first match of 7 between Team Leone in the white and Universal Fighters in the black and green. And this is the final. Whoever wins this team series will go through into the Champions League in 2025. This is the opening match in the series, 65 kilograms in the white, Alihan Ibgenbek. Been waiting all night for this, I feel like. This is it. This is what everybody's been waiting for, right? The biggest names, the toughest competitors going head-to-head to see who will go through into the Champions League next year for a shot at winning $500,000 for the winning team, or a share potentially of that $1 million prize fund.
Look at this footlock attempt.
Iggenbeck aggressive.
Yeah, I think he was trying to force the heel out for the sake of the Aoki lock possibility, but right on the edge of the mat. Yeah, you know, Leone, they fought twice yesterday.
Yes.
And so all day, I imagine they probably didn't even get to the venue until a couple hours ago, I imagine.
Yeah, it's 11:30 at night here in Kazakhstan, in Astana, and we're just getting underway with the first of these Leone versus Universal Fighters. Universal Fighters did compete earlier today. They had a pretty tough series, 4-3 win against Battle Force of Kazakhstan.
Alihan throwing that reap all the way through, looking for a heel hook. An important figure in that Dagestan-based team of Universal Fighters is Zaur Akhmedov.
And you want to know something that he has the unfortunate statistic that only 2 Universal Fighters competitors all weekend have lost via submission. Ramazan Saduev yesterday losing to Yurnaz Musabek of Kagan team. And earlier today, Zaur Akhmedov lost via rear naked choke to Bezket Kapashov of Battle Force. So Zaur is back, and I'm sure he's going to want to get one back just for himself as much as for the team. But Iggenbeck is a pretty dangerous submission hunter. He's the only Kazakh on the team, the Yang Leone team. An interesting fact that Iggenbeck has actually...
Oh, look at this.
...been and spent extensive period of time in Dagestan competing and training out there, Jake.
So he's probably familiar, at least by name and association,
100%.
with Zaur. Not sure if they've ever competed against each other per se, but definitely had to have known each other. Dagestan, I feel like it's one of those, man, it's just like one of those groups of people where everybody knows everybody.
Iggenbeck actually represented Team Nurmagomedov in the Champions League qualifier or quarterfinal last year and lost to one of Zaur's students.
Seems like Zaur is out of the fire, at least for now. He's been staving off a lot of the attacks of Iggenbeck.
Yeah, it's definitely slowed down a bit now with 2 minutes left. 0-0 on the board. Iggenbeck hasn't really been playing a points game at all, right? He's definitely very submission focused, but Zaur, I think, is doing a good job of kind of slowing things down a little bit here and not getting drawn into a foot race. And that's where experience can really come into play. But we did see in his earlier match against Kapashov, and he started really well, but Akhmedov definitely tired, and he ended up losing by rear naked choke really late in the third round. So if Igenbeck can maintain a high pace, then he might be able to take Akhmedov into deep waters.
We have seen he's able to keep a high pace, at least, unless he got a little bruised up yesterday. Look at that. You don't see that every day in no-gi as well. Tripod sweep. You know, we've talked about earlier, we talked about some of the more traditional options coming back around and being utilized once again. .40 seconds, still tied up, 0-0.
Tried to slide through with a knee cut, but nice recovery from Igenbeck and closing the guard. So 34 seconds remaining.
And that's going to be round one, a draw.
Well, 0-0.
Round one declared a draw.
Командаға Америка Құрама Штаттары, Жапония, Австралия, Жаңа Зеландия, Қытай, Англия, Испания.
There's a look at the early leg lock attack there from Igenbeck. I mean, he was yanking on it.
Yeah, and earlier, so this is like a later look at it when he started to transition over to that heel hook. Leg was straight, but when earlier he actually had the deepest bite on it was when it was rolling out of bounds here on the side. Then we see Zaur on top. Here's a look at that little tripod sweep.
That was nice.
And
Really
a lot of
nice.
times those sweeps will knock somebody on their butt so that you can reinitiate a leg entanglement. But Zaur popped right back up to his feet.
Now, look at this. Igenbeck is in the center of the mat, and Zaur is very slow to come back. And we saw that happen in the earlier match with Zaur Akhmedov, that every time he came back, he was just a little bit slower, a little bit more tired, a little bit more fatigued. But Igenbeck's fresh. Look at him, ready to go.
Pulls guard once again. Going to reset them back in the center. Referee Max Kuznetsov. And we're back to it. Alternating between wrist control and head control is Igenbeck.
Have you noticed how common it is for the Universal Fighters guys? Nearly all of them go to half guard first to try and pass.
I think
Very
statistically
rarely.
it's a very smart strategy.
100%, but I mean, very rarely will you see them use outside passing, much like we saw from, say, Team Italia or Brothers Team. Nice little use of the knee lever there as a bit of a last ditch, kind of a bit of a save. But nearly all of the Universal Fighters guys do it. Definitely a trademark of theirs.
Zaur trying to knee cut, leaves himself open a little bit for that elevation underneath. Igenbeck trying to get under the leg, has the foot on the hip.
Zaura getting very close to getting this DOS choke here. He's got a really good, okay, fingers in the bicep. That's tight.
That could be trouble.
Igenbeck is trying to roll out of it, but this is really, really dangerous here. Oh, there's a lot of pressure.
That could be.
His face is purple. His face is purple. Look at this. This is just getting tighter.
This is not a good
tighter.
look.
If Akhmedov can get his belly over on top of that elbow, the trapped elbow, even better. Close guard here.
Oh, and that's it. He's tapping.
Wow, Igenbeck, look at him. He doesn't know where he is. He's out right now. It's going to take him a minute for his senses to come back. Very, very tight DOS choke there, and a very important early submission win for Universal Fighters in this series.
Your winner, Zaur Akhmedov!
Wow. It was 2 minutes and 24 seconds of the second round.
Zaur Akhmedov, Universal Fighters.
Here's a look at the replay. Look at how tight that was. And it wasn't just the traditional kind of sprawling on top finish. It was this, right?
I think it was a great reaction to, you know, Ali Khan was trying to orient his hips in a different way, trying to put his back on the mat, make it so that he's not getting that DOS choke pressure. And then Zaur lays down on his back, throws the leg over, transition it to sort of that DOS choke guillotine hybrid, and that is so much pressure.
And Ali Khan, he kind of hand slapped the mat a couple of times, but it wasn't really clear if he was tapping or not. But then he tapped again, and Zaur let go, and yeah, he was.
Our next bout takes place in the above 91 kilogram division. Introducing first, from Leone, Declan Moody.
91 kelli жоғары салмақ дәрежесі қызыл бұрышқа Leone командасынан палуан шақырамыз Declan Moody.
And his opponent in the blue corner, representing Universal Fighters, Ruslan Abdullayev.
Көк бұрышқа Universal Fighters командасының палуан шақырамыз Ruslan Abdullayev.
All right, this is the heavyweights. Declan Moody making his first appearance here. Ruslan Abdullayev, this is his third match this weekend. But Declan Moody of B-Team representing the Leone squad here in this over 91 kilogram match. In the white, Declan Moody. In the black and green is Ruslan Abdullayev. Now, Abdullayev, we know what to expect from him, right? Heavy pressure, great wrestling, and creative submissions. Whereas, you know, if you're going to look at, let's say, Declan Moody, they're probably thinking, we don't know anything about this guy. They've maybe never seen him in action. Declan has wrestling, he has top game, but he also has a really, really good guard that you don't see from many big guys his size.
Ruslan has been grappling this weekend like he knows how much better he is at wrestling than the people he fought.
Yeah.
And that is a level of confidence where he was able to showboat during the match. It looked like he was in a league of his own.
He looks pretty focused against Declan, though. And already Declan kind of is using some interesting hand fighting here. He used a couple of elbow passes. There's a little attempt at the throw-by. I think Ruslan's like, I want to see what he's got. Ruslan wants to kind of feel a little bit of that hand fighting and wait and see if Declan Declan's going to try and shoot maybe, or Ruslan's just like, I want to know what weapons are waiting for me if I'm going to shoot. Because Ruslan's incredibly experienced. He's one of the real veterans here this weekend. And you know the guy is going to be pretty smart anytime he goes up against an unknown quantity like Declan. And that was clever from Declan. Getting into under-over, excuse me, before pulling guard. Makes good contact. Now here, knee shield, half guard. But that's where Ruslan, we've
spat Declan Moody through an attack. And that is something, this is going to sound strange, but I don't think Ruslan has dealt with somebody attacking him from the guard.
Not like that.
No. And Declan is a very dangerous competitor. So Ruslan can't just wade through the guard and easily glide past the knee shield. He's got to be very safe and very serious in his approach.
He's putting the weight on it, though, just like he was in his earlier 2 matches against Kagantine. He fought against, I believe it was Rasul Katayev. No, excuse me, against the Kagantine. He fought against Ruslan Askarov. And then, of course, he fought against
Anton Dimitrov.
It was Anton, yeah. And he submitted Anton with the Anaconda choke late in the 3rd round after just smashing his guard from this position for basically 3 rounds.
Trying to tilt sweep.
Dimitrov has a guard, but it's nothing like you see from Declan. That was nice footwork there from Ruslan in clearing that trapped leg. I think Declan wants to try and scoop the leg, but Ruslan really extends everything, right? He's such a wide base. It's how he's able to generate so much pressure on top of his opponents.
I think one skill that we've actually overlooked in commenting on just about the Universal Fighters team, but also I think just the Dagestan competitors who have competed in the AIGA Champions League before, is their ability to disengage. And so they will stay in the pocket. It's very difficult.
He's trying to disengage, but he can't. Look at this. Declan's caught the ankle.
Well, that commentator's curse on that part. But they are usually very, very good at remaining safe. Like when they don't like a situation and how it's going, they're able to disengage. They're able to break away.
You're absolutely right. They kind of pass in and out on their terms, right? That's interesting because that's the first time that I was, Declan prevented Ruslan from resetting cleanly. He tried to pull out, and Declan caught that ankle, had hold of it for a bit before Ruslan was able to come back in. But usually Ruslan would be clear and then walk back in calmly, but no.
I feel as though this is also sort of a feeling out process.
100% for both guys. Abdullayev wants to know what kind of threats are waiting for him from the guard. And Moody wants to know what kind of openings there are for him for attack. End of the 1st round, 0-0 draw.
Round 1 declared a draw.
Кезектің бұл кезеңі тең аяқталды. Естеріңізге сала кетейік. Әзірге жалпы командалық есеп.
Okay, now we're taking a look at Leone, Joseph Chen. Not competing in this round. PJ Barch will be stepping onto the stage instead. So Joseph's coaching Declan. They train together a ton, live together in Austin, Texas when they're both there. Abdullayev getting some words of advice from his coaches. Zoe Akhmedov, Mohammed, Abdulkadirov and co. And you can see there's Dan Schwartz kind of giving some advice
of Daniel Schwartz
in the heavyweight. Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if that was strategic. They're like, stylistically, whether they think that Declan is better for Ruslan than Daniel would be. But I also feel this Declan arrived a little bit later than the rest of them because he flew here straight from Houston, Texas, where he competed against Felipe Pena, who's #1 earlier this week. So maybe because he got here later, they wanted to give him an extra day.
Oh,
nice
my goodness.
Shot. Beautiful shot. Almost up is Declan. I say almost. He hasn't conceded the takedown just yet.
Brilliant use of the overhook
That was well defended by Declan Moody to get back up. You know, something I'm going to just mention that Declan Moody has to his advantage is the daily training with Nicky Rod at B-Team in Austin, Texas. So, and for 2 years straight as well, that is. So he's had a very capable wrestler shooting in deep on his hips. So he knows what it feels like.
If they're can't ask for a better room than B-Team.
Training every day with the $1 Million Grappler, right?
Yes.
I kind of feel like Moody will pull again, but I feel like he will only pull, you know, when he's ready, and he'll do so probably from a tie-up to avoid, you know, Abdullayev kind of being able to pass on his terms. There's
another shot. This time a guillotine, though. The arm is under the chin.
Leg. Oh, Abdullayev manages to clear it. The legs went all the way over to the other side here.
The chin strap is under the chin.
Abdullayev's out. Abdullayev is out, and he's going to get 2 for that, I believe. Yes, he will. So Declan recovers the half guard. But man, Abdullayev jumping over the legs like that, that was nifty.
He's a very nifty guy. He's got great awareness when he's passing. And like you said, he's very experienced. He's probably been in that situation as a wrestler hundreds of times, where you get caught in a guillotine on a shot, and you got to immediately jump to the other side.
Absolutely. Can't imagine Declan wants to be here, close guard.
You see Declan, it might be a little leftover shiner from the match with Felipe Pena, but he's got
training with Nicky Rod.
Well, there could be
who knows?
Could be anybody in that. It could be Nicky Ryan, it could be J Rod, it could have been any of them. They're all savages.
Now this is better for Declan, I feel, playing this kind of knee shield half guard. But Abdullayev does so well. And look at that, on his toes, hips up, driving forward, making Moody carry all his weight through that left leg, the knee shield. That's tiring.
It's very tiring. The outside hip muscle, that abductor muscle, it's not a big muscle. And so it can get very, very tiring having to consistently keep your knee open. And Ruslan, yeah, he spreads himself out to keep that right leg of Declan Moody far away and all the weight being carried by that left leg.
Somewhat of a slower pace here now.
1 minute, Declan, 1 minute.
Beautiful sweep. Beautiful John Wayne sweep. Almost completes it, but that
is able to get up. Look at the strength and the mobility of Ruslan.
What a scramble, but Declan loses the seatbelt and exposes his back in the process.
Oh my goodness.
And we know how good Abdullayev is from this position. He breaking down his opponents. And the way that he just snatched the hand, dragged the hip to the mat, and he's putting a lot of pressure here now on Moody.
Now Declan Moody finds himself in a tough spot.
And he had such a great look at getting a great position there. The sweep, the John Wayne to the single leg, and then the scramble up to top, but it just wasn't quite enough.
Round 2 goes to Universal Fighters.
Universal Fighters командасы Балда.
So there's a look at the shot that scored Ruslan 2, I believe, earlier in the... Oh, no, actually, that was the first one that didn't score. Declan was able to fight his way up out of that one.
I believe this is the one.
This is the one that did. It led to the guillotine attack, and then Ruslan hopped over the legs.
And Declan's leg was up to prevent that from happening, but then he put it down, and Ruslan felt it and jumped over to the other side.
Incredible awareness.
Awareness,
Yeah.
yes. And Declan, when I said he finds himself in a tough spot, you know, first round draw, correct? Second round.
2-0.
Yep. And so now he has to either win by points, which we've seen.
Yep.
Ruslan does not give up points easy.
Yep.
That scramble, I wish we could have seen a scramble or a replay of that scramble, because it was
great.
Unreal. I wouldn't even I'm not going to undignify it by calling it a scramble. That was calculated reactions.
Yeah,
by
it was
Ruslan.
30 seconds of really good positional exchange. But now this third and final round, if Moody can win this one by points, which, as you said, is not easy, but if he can, then it'll go to a judge's decision, because it'll be a 1 round of draw and then 1 round apiece. But if Moody can submit, of course, well, that would be best, because then the decision would be irrelevant. But Ruslan, he only needs to hold on for a draw. Doesn't even need to win on points.
You know what just occurred to me, Hal, is if Declan came to Kazakhstan, I imagine the day after who's number 1, that means he left on Thursday. And that means he got here yesterday. And so it's a very real possibility that he's dealing with jet lag.
We all are, right?
I know I am.
I definitely felt it. Yeah, I mean, he came from Austin, Texas, so I think it's about 11.
That's
so pulls seated guard now. This is actually good for Declan if he can get elevation. Oh, okay, look at that, going for the pinch headlock. Oh, almost sweeps, but Abdullah's base, so good.
creative options from Moody, however.
Feel like that is not his preferred side to play guard from. He's got the, again, going back to that knee shield half. I think it's not Abdullah's preferred side to pass from, because notice that he doesn't engage by going forward like he did on the other side. Now he's doing a little bit more, but
points about to go into effect. 5 seconds. Universal Fighters opening up strong in this series. We talked all weekend about how Leone felt like another super team, but cannot forget about the original super team of Universal Fighters, the 2022 AIGA Champions League winner.
back into the same pattern now of Abdullayev putting his weight on that knee shield half guard. Declan's doing a really good job of keeping his knees between them. Problem is, a lot of people, what they do from that half guard is they kind of allow space, you know, they extend their knees, and then the guy gets into that, into the pocket, the area between the knees and the torso, get chest to chest, and then they just work to pass from there. Declan, if you notice, he's been basically doing an ab crunch this entire time with his knees really, really tucked.
1 minute 50 to work, Declan. 1 minute 50 to work.
Going deep half is Declan.
Heard a lot of cheers from the Leone side as soon as Declan initiated this position. But Ruslan with that strong power underhook.
Declan in not a great spot here. This is better for Abdullayev. Look at the distance has been closed now. His upper body is much, much closer to Declan's torso. Now he's a little bit further away, but yeah, he's crowding him. He's crowding him. He's trying to stay super close, and Declan's top knee is really saving him. That is a large obstacle to work your way around, and Abdullayev, he briefly had a moment where it was clear when Declan was cycling back from the deep half, but 40 seconds remaining now. He's going to be hard for Moody to score here, and Abdullayev, as we said, he only needs to hold on for a 0-0 draw and he wins the match.
Just don't see how Moody's going to be able to make a big sweep happen. Granted, he just have earlier this week, he did have a giant matchup versus a legendary competitor, I think. With that and the travel, it's just the gas tanks might not be there. Ruslan Abdullayev.
Late omoplata here from Declan. Right on the buzzer.
He's going to give Universal Fighters an early lead of 2-0.
Your winner by points, Ruslan Abdullayev!
Положение принятия Universal Fighters командасының балуаны Руслан Абдуллаев.
So the points were 0-0, 2-0, 0-0 across those 3 rounds, but Abdullayev gets the win against Declan Moody, making it a pretty good 2-match lead in this 7-match series against Al Leone. So not a blowout by any means, Jake, you know. If anybody thought that Al Leone were going to come out here and smoke him, not the case.
Not the case.
The scramble you enjoyed so much.
Well, Declan looks like he's able to secure this, gets flipped over the top, reorients himself, and then when it looks like he's going to be able to take the back, Ruslan just turns it back in his favor. They were going tit for tat, and it was a very pleasing to watch scramble for sure, but for Ruslan to be able to turn that terrible, what looked like could be a terrible situation, into a better situation for him, just very impressive, and it speaks to what we've been talking about and alluding to, is that he is on another level when it comes to wrestling. He really is in this competition.
Our next bout takes place in the under 76 kilogram division. Introducing first out of the red corner, representing Al Leone, Kenta Iwamoto!
76 келіге салмақ дәрежесі. Қызыл бұрышқа Ал Леоне командасының балуаны шақырамыз. Кента Ивамото.
And his opponent in the blue corner, represent Universal Fighters, Magomed Gaziev!
Көк бұрышқа Universal Fighters командасының балуанын шақырамыз. Magomed Gaziev.
Wow, we got a real clash of styles in this match here. This is the 3rd of 7 matches between Universal Fighters and Team Al Leone. In the white is Kenta Iwamoto going up against Magomed Gaziev. Gaziev has such a flexible guard, Jake. We saw it a lot in his earlier match there against Battle Force, where he was able to beat Seilhan Bolabek by decision. It was a 0-0 score across all 3 rounds against Bolabek, but Gaziev's guard is a real problem. It was Kenta Iwamoto. He's pretty much known as a guard passer, pressure guy. So kind of interesting to see if Kenta can solve the riddle that is Gaziev's guard.
As you've been talking about it, he has reached in for hooks around the hips and other securing guard pass grips, and he has been in danger every time he reaches his hand too far. Magomed is just very, almost like a fly trap. Reach in too far and you might not get that arm back.
Very mobile from bottom, isn't he, Gaziev? Not the kind of guy. I mean, we did see him tie up his opponents earlier, but right now his movement from bottom is very, very open. He's got very long legs as well for the weight class, very tall for this 76 kilogram division. Kenta is he's a tank, basically. If you look at him, very, very stocky, very solid. he can remove those obstacles and make connection, I feel like he can put pressure on. But Gaziev's active from bottom, and that's important, right?
Especially when you have AIGA judges giving you stalling calls if you are not active. And they give them rather quickly. Kenta trying to explode and throw that reverse double underhook. Kick for distance from Gaziev. Oh, there's a solid connection for Kenta Iwamoto. Can he sink his hips down? And look at the problematic flexibility of Gaziev. Catching Kenta.
It's such a tricky prospect to deal with, because you feel like he's cleared something, and then all of a sudden it's just he manages to flick a leg back in between them. Decent control on this straight ankle lock here.
He wants to turn it into an Aoki. You can see it.
Yeah, if you look at the other angle, there you go. You can see the grips. Man, Kenta didn't even need to address it. You see, he just kept his foot flat on the floor and just...
There was a moment when Kenta thought about the possibility of yanking his leg out, but put it back in deeper, actually, once he realized the prospect of possibly getting forced into an Aoki lock situation. Universal Fighters up 2-0. Early lead in this team series. This is the final team matchup.
It's that body triangle from the close guard again. I can't see. Yeah, I can. Okay, I can see it now. Only if you look at the other angle, his right hand, there it is scooped underneath the leg. And this is exactly what he did to Selhan Bolibek. Clasp his hands, and he's squeezing here. He's squeezing hard, Jake. This is, I don't know what it feels like. I've never been there, but I'm kind of curious to know, because it looks awful.
Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that before, but getting this big angle, throwing the body triangle and squeezing, I imagine it could be, for someone with a weaker rib cage, could be very, very painful. And I imagine it is painful.
That's what I'm thinking. There has to be some kind of rib crush going on there. The angle that he creates and the scoop of the leg, plus the grip over the top, the angle that he cuts, and then, you know, preventing them from posturing up. There's got to be something going on there, like a rib crush. But like I said earlier, you know, it's probably not enough to tap people, but it definitely will tire them out, slow them down, and make them very, very uncomfortable.
I imagine it probably puts a lot of pressure on the lower back, too, which can be very, when your lower back is tired, it's very hard to do jiu-jitsu when your lower back is, you have a lower back pump.
Another round, 0-0.
Round one, declare a draw.
It speaks to how evenly matched these two teams are, that Universal Fighters, they had their fair share of hardships to make it to the final here today. Leone did not concede a match. But so far, they've bled twice. And there's been a lot of draws in the first two matchups of the day. Zaur Akhmedov and Ruslan Abdullayev came away with victories in the under 65 and above 91 kilogram divisions, respectively. But now this is the under 76.
Some communication going on there between the Universal. I'm not sure exactly what. Maybe they're asking to see if he was like oiled or greased or something, and then they might need to wipe him off.
Very interesting.
Yeah, they're going to check. See, they're checking the ankles.
Olshas essentially, he literally just touched the leg and said, it's okay.
Yeah, the Universal Fighters team are really protesting with the side judges and the referees, saying that there seems to be some problem with Kenta's ankles, possibly that there's some kind of ointment or oil or something on them, cream. Didn't seem to, he checked them himself, he didn't seem to think that there was an issue. Some real complaints being lodged here from the Universal Fighters team.
Shades of Nicky Rod, Felipe Pena. Universal Fighters and Leone still talking back and forth as this match goes on.
There's a shot leading to the guard pull from Gaziev.
Kenta now opting to approach with the knee cut style guard pass.
Kenta probing that guard, trying to push his knee through. I feel a sense of urgency now from Kenta. He's not kind of casually approaching this. There's much more intent behind his movements.
You can tell by the way he's violently throwing in that left arm underhook. It's like a punch. Points go into effect in 10 seconds. Here in the third fight of Universal Fighters versus Leone.
Close guard, there it is again, that close guard body triangle, but Kenta is addressing it here. Look at this.
Dagestan handcuff.
If you've never felt that, that's really annoying to get caught with. Very frustrating, actually. Kenta does have MMA experience and trained with many MMA fighters in Japan. So it's kind of common in MMA. You'll see guys do that. They'll thread their arm all the way through around the back, trap the arm, and then punch with their free hand, removing one of the defenses. But here, I think we may even see Gaziev go for that kind of funky crush again. But no, Kenta manages to stand.
Just over 2 minutes to go. Second round. Round one was a draw. Round two is currently a draw.
2 minutes remaining. Iwamoto quite patient now. I think he realizes that just speeding up isn't necessarily going to work. I think he's going to have to methodically pass this guard of Gaziev. He's such a tricky guard. Very active from bottom. You go long range, the legs are everywhere. You go close range, he throws up that close guard body triangle. Very difficult to get anywhere near his upper body.
Whenever Kenta initiates that knee cut, he really drives his knee in. Really puts his hip forward. This is not a bad opportunity for Kenta. This is about as close to getting at least like the start of an underhook or the start of a head control going.
He's actually working towards a leg drag as well. If he can pass that foot across the hip.
Not a lot of time to work though, just 20 seconds. Magomed under the leg. Looking for a knee bar.
That's real pressure right there. That's
This
real
could
pressure
be
right there.
trouble.
That was locked out for a second.
And that's going to live in the minds of the judges.
I mean, they'll have to make a note of that because in a 0-0 round, what counts is submission attacks.
Round 2, declare a draw.
And here's the Universal Fighters corner. All of them, they come together when it comes to these mid-round get-togethers. Look at the difference in the corner of the Leone team. Joseph Chen just calmly chatting with Kenta. Whereas on the other side, look at this. It's like a pit crew in an IndyCar race.
I was just thinking about that is exactly what it's like. And it was the same thing with the Dagestan Combat Club and the Turkey Qualifier. Let's take a look at some of the action. This is what I mean about Kenta. He can't really reach in, and then this right here.
That was locked out.
And Kenta was able to turn his knee, but you gotta think he took a little bit of a strain on that knee.
I'm sure he felt it, but
definitely a precarious spot.
yeah,
Mr.
Kenta was actually just kind of sat there watching the replays up on the big screen. I think himself, kind of like admiring the knee bar.
Terminator Max Kuznetsov gets us back underway.
Third and final round here in this under 76 kilogram match. The third match between Universal Fighters and Leone.
Does that right leg through. There's not a lot of opportunities for Iwamoto to really get a solid, like those foundational grips that start the guard pass. Every time he reaches for them, he's always having his arm wrapped up or...
You know what I've noticed? Oh, that's better. Oh, but
right to the closed guard.
That annoying body triangle closed guard. And I call it annoying because I can just imagine how frustrating it must feel to get caught in there. But I noticed something as well, is that, and there's an example, Gaziev, that he doesn't place his feet when playing open guard. He kicks and he stabs. It's an aggressive open guard, Jake. It's not like I put my foot and I just like put pressure. He straight up like is stomping on people, kicking them away, and those legs are just cycling. It's very difficult to find any way past them. Looking for the straight angle.
Kenta actually voluntarily sat right before the points period.
Yeah, I think Kenta's almost like, you know what, I'm not going to pass it. Maybe I'll just, I'll give it a go myself.
Kenta looking for an opportunity on the leg now.
Yeah, his right leg is out of position, but his left leg is kind of coming in behind. There he is. He's looking for the heel.
Well, now he's looking like he might have an opportunity here, Howell.
I think he's got it. He does!
Kenta Iwamoto with the inside heel hook.
Wow, he had to fish for it. It took a number of rotations for him to find that heel, but when he did, perfect finishing mechanics, catching the heel, bridging the hip sideways through the knee. Big extension and a third round, much needed third round submission victory for Kenta Iwamoto and Team Leone.
Your winner, Kenta Iwamoto!
Полужитель жеңімпазы Leone командасының балуаны Kenta Iwamoto.
Can't wait to see the replay of that. That was a really nice piece of leg locking, and it's something that Kenta's not exactly known for, but he did really well.
Universal Fighters Dagestan.
I'd love to see that whole setup lead into the inside heel hook. Came late in the third round, 2 minutes and 56 seconds. And it was only when Kenta bailed on the guard pass and he got it. Here is.
You see, as soon as the heel exposed itself, he had a giant angle on it. And I think that his opponent actually thought that he might have still been arching it when he was just trying to let go. But look at the, oh my gosh. Heel hooks from that angle look so nasty.
Yeah, look at this. So he's got the position, rolls through. There it is. And you're right, there was a moment that Gaziev, I think he thought that he was being disrespected, but Kenta, absolute true sportsman-like conduct, and didn't crank anything more than it necessarily needed to be. What a win.
Our next bout takes place in the under 70 kilogram division. Introducing first, in the red corner, representing Leone, Owen Jones!
Жеңімпазы салмақ дәрежесі қызылбұрышта Leone командасының балуаны шақырамыз Owen Jones.
And his opponent in the blue corner, representing Universal Fighters, Gaston Tenye!
Көкбұрышта Universal Fighters командасының балуанын шақырамыз Gaston Tenye.
Referee Damir Sadirov ready to get this one underway.
Oh, look at them. They look ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Tamiv is, he's like on his toes. He's ready to go. Owen, I mean, we know that he's always hyped up. And he's a bit of a showman as well. Look at this, the inversion, immediately trying to grab that leg. He wants a quick submission win.
Always wants a quick submission win.
And I mean, it's Owen's style. Owen doesn't like to hang around. He wants to get into that reverse close guard that he does so well. He wants to snag a leg and crank it. Tamiv with the very low posture. And what was I saying earlier about how they all pass to the half guard first?
Yep. 1 minute 22 points. Keeps them safe from leg entanglements for the most part as well. So now the score is Universal Fighters 2, Leone 1.
Owen Jones actively working from the bottom here. But Tamiv's defensive posture. Got a claw grip on the back of the neck as well.
Gotta be careful of the shoulder crunch, though.
Yeah.
Something Owen Jones does very, very well.
Choi bar, but no, he manages to slip it out.
25 seconds to point.
Owen rolling through. Tamiv steps out briefly, but he's straight back in. Actually, I don't speak Russian, but I understand when a Russian is shouting multiple words in his language and you hear choiba, you know that he's telling, basically Tamiv is saying, Zaur Akhmedov in the corner is telling Tamiv, watch that submission. Owen Jones, kind of a crowded position. There he is now, throws it up, he's got that clamp. Ooh, straight armbar now. Briefly. Something, a bit of a communication. Owen looked a little upset about something. Can't quite tell what it was. Maybe it was like a bit of a headbutt or something, but hard to say. But now full close guard.
Tripoded up is Ghassan Temiev.
Minute 45 to work, Owen. Minute 45 to work.
Not really trying to escape this closed guard. Gotta wonder if the referee is going to look to start giving penalties.
Yeah, I mean, he could well put Temiev on the stalling clock if he doesn't start changing his posture, because it's an extremely defensive posture in the closed guard, but you can't open the closed guard like that. The way that he's tucking his elbows really, really tight, keeping his head low like that, that's purely a defensive posture. This is a little bit different. If he can get his hips high and get his knee up the middle, you can open the closed guard for sure, but easier said than done. Oh, there it is. There's a stalling clock put on Temiev.
He stands up, but still not.
Doesn't improve his position, though, or he isn't even trying to improve the position, so.
I would imagine this is going to be a bona fide stalling call. But Damir Saudidov, he waves it off. Very interesting.
And I can't really see what changed.
Yeah, it would appear that there isn't a desire to open up to pass the guard from Ghassan.
You know, he seems a little bit frustrated. Look at the way that he's keeping his, and he opened his guard there. It was almost like, is this guy gonna try and pass or no? The answer is no. Like double underhooks, forward pressure like that.
5 seconds to work, Owen. Doing great, brother. Good.
End of the first round. 0-0 draw.
Round 1 declare a draw.
Well, interesting first round. Long period of time spent in that close guard. I think Temiev was really, really hyper aware of the threat of the Choi bar when he was on top of half guard. His corner was certainly telling him about it. I wonder what kind of advice Joseph will be giving Owen and how he can change his strategy. Here is the kind of the questionable moment. What exactly was Owen kind of protesting about there? He had the grip on the arm, but
I guess I don't know.
I mean, it certainly didn't look like he thought he tapped, surely. All right, second round underway. Owen Jones in the white.
Big
Temiev
shot.
In the green and black.
Owen Jones in on the leg.
Oh, this is better. This is really good. He's got the inside heel.
Oh my
and it's
goodness,
on.
and that's it!
Less than
That
20
quick.
seconds in the second round for Owen Jones with the inside heel hook. And that young man right there, he came to do a job, and it was to tap his opponents out. That's what he did.
your winner, Owen Jones!
I'd like to check the official time on that, but I believe it was about 18 or 20 seconds only. It was so quick. And Owen Jones is, look at that, pumped up. 3 matches, 100% submission rate here this weekend. All by leg lock. Surprise, surprise. Here's a good look at the finish.
There are few competitors that get more fired up than Owen Jones. And look at this. As soon as he gets in on the leg, reorients his hip, finds the heel, and already goes to essentially that power heel hook. My goodness, that was so fast. Let's take another look at it. Spins underneath, hooks the knee to secure the knee line, gets his hips in the way, and then allows his arms to slide. So his arms were around the knee how to secure it, gets his hips in line, and then finds the heel. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you set up heel hooks in those situations.
Yeah, Tamiyev tried to roll out of it, but just completely the wrong direction and only made the lock even tighter.
Our next bout takes place in the under 60 kilogram division. Introducing first, out of the red corner, representing Leone, Daiki Onekura!
Alpas Kiligidi Salman Derigesa, Kızıl Buruş'ta, Leone komandasının Alvanı Şahramaz, Daiki Onekura.
And his opponent in the blue corner, representing Universal Fighters, Magomed Temiev!
Kıdemli Kurkuruş'ta, Universal Fighters komandasının Alvanı Şahramaz, Magomed Temiev.
All right, so it is now 2 matches apiece in this 7-match series between Leone and Universal Fighters. In the white, Dagestan Universal Fighters is Magomed Temiev. He won his match against Italia 2.0 by first-round ankle lock and came back and won via ankle lock against Breno Peterson. Both first-round ankle lock submissions. Can lightning strike 3 times. Certainly did in the case of Owen Jones.
Yes.
Who scored a 100% submission rate with 3 leg locks. Can Yonakura keep that streak alive?
Already 2 points given to Magomed Temiev. I think it was off of a possible confusing stand-up situation. I think Yonakura, oh my goodness!
I feel like Yonakura got his guard pull intercepted. It didn't feel like it. Very active guard from Yonakura.
You can see every member of Leone is watching this match. The score is tied in the series 2-2, Leone and Universal Fighters. First one to 4 will guarantee their spot in the 2025 Champions League to join Eurotrash, Team Kasai, Checkmat, and 10th Planet, along with what I imagine will be other invites such as maybe the returning champ Team Adolfo. We'll find out.
Points now active in this first round. Yonakura, he's got such interesting entries.
That is a very secure lock on the arm.
Yeah, to me, manages to address it, but when he does, it exposes the leg, and now Yonakura kind of looking for a K-guard entry, but to me, I mean, we were talking about earlier, you mentioned, Jake, about the Universal Fighters, their ability to disengage.
You saw it right there. And Daiki Yonakura, he even after the disengage, he went right back in and kept looking for the leg entanglement. And now he's in a little bit deeper. Not fully able to secure the knee line, but continuing to fight that other leg now. Can't come up for the sweep quite. That was an interesting job by Temiev to lift the free leg of Yonekura. Now he's able to come up.
That's going to be 2 for Yonekura.
And that will even the score. Now it's Temiev looking for a leg entanglement.
Oh, there is a look at the ankle lock. I mean, it's worked for him so successfully twice so far. Both of those matches yesterday, won by ankle lock submission. Just over a minute remaining in this first round. Dead even so far, 2 points each.
A lot of pressure from Yonekura now.
Oh, I like that. Stepping over leg, drops back the leg. Oh, it kind of looked like
he's got that strong crossface.
Nearly gets through. Not quite now. Kind of in the dope mount position, but Temiev has managed to triangle his legs, and he's actually controlling the heel. Yonekura had a pretty decent attempt at a pass right there. That's about the closest we've seen him come. But now,
wow, the
switch sides. And dropping it back again for the leg. Temiev recognizes it though. Just over 15 seconds, and Yonekura just, man, he's picking up the pace here.
Yeah, this is a different kind of pressure. This is that movement pressure where you're not just drowning your opponent with weight. You're moving side to side and staying in the pocket. Very impressive stuff. Although, it is going to end in a draw.
2-2.
Round 1 declared a draw.
So, very curious round. You know, Temiev was just like passing, or trying to pass. And when Yonekura was able to get them the other way, and he was able to get on top, it was so different, his attempt at passing, because he would mix in the pass with the threat of dropping back for the leg locks. And, man, he had Temiev in trouble a couple times there.
He really did, and Temiev had to turn away from the heel hook preemptively, like completely, because that when the heel hook is coming on that fast, you can't always employ a super sophisticated measure. You just got to get out of the way. And so I think that what we might see in the coming rounds, if we see Yonekura back on top, we might see him drop back for that heel hook a little bit more, but possibly even fake the drop back to get the pass.
Nice shot,
look at this.
Temiev with an early 2. Catches the hips, put him down in the first 10 seconds, but we know how dangerous Yonekura's leg locks are. He's wasting no time in trying to draw that leg in. Look at this.
That is going to be 2 points for Magomedbek Temiev. Oh, might get the knee bar here.
You know, we've seen Temiev bail out of perilous positions more than once. But this time I feel like Yonekura is maintaining sticky grips of the legs. Temiev even looking for a heel hook of his own there quickly. But Yonekura is, he's aware that if I give this guy space, he's gone. And we restart all over again. So he's staying a little bit sticky, but he's not following him up just yet. Maybe because he's aware that it's the no points period.
The ability to get 2 points at the beginning of the round and then not get scored on. Very valuable in this rule set. It's a way that you can secure a round, and if you have one round, man, you could have every round. Because all you need sometimes is to win that one round and then not get scored on the rest of the matches. And even if it goes to a tie in both the second and third round, you still won. And that's where I think Universal Fighters really is Even though they're all dangerous submission hunters, and they're capable of doing it. That's where they're at their most dangerous, because you cannot take them down. They can take you down, and then they're very difficult to sweep. You kind of have to submit them in some cases.
No, I agree. It's very rare that you see them positionally dominated. Now, this is good work from Yonakura. Tries to run down. Oh, look at the way he just dives on the leg in that scramble. He tried to run down to Miev, who was able to prevent the reversal. And Yonakura, instead of insisting, he's just like, there's a leg right here. I'm going to take it.
Possibly had a look at a heel hook. The knee line not completely secure.
Tamiev spinning one way and then the other, but Yonakura manages to keep control of the ankle, and now this is an opportunity, I feel.
Oh, Aoki lock possibility.
Yeah, he's managed to maintain the grip. Oh, there it is!
Oh,
straight ankle!
That looked like a tap!
I thought he tapped. His hand, I'm sure that was a tap there for a second. He went belly down on that. He's not let it go yet. Yonakura briefly trying to come up on top there, and I could even hear Joseph saying sweep and pass, but Yonakura now comes up on top. Now he'll get two.
And we saw
that was
inklings. I could have swore
it was a
tap.
replay. I'm sure that was a tap.
It was an Uncle Chael tap.
I mean, he went belly down on that. And this is a nice answer, though, from Tamiev. He's got a leg lock game of his own, you know. But he's not as insistent on it as Yonakura is, but he knows it.
In doing that, though, you are giving Yonakura what he has been asking for 2 straight rounds.
Just a look at the legs.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yes. We said it earlier, right? Live by the leg lock, die by the leg lock. It happens.
We will see. Minute 25 left in the second round. Magomedbek Tamiev is going to want to look to invert underneath to lift that heel up off the ground.
Yeah, they're 50-50.
That's where you see Yonakura hiding his heel and now clearing his knee line, and he's back on top. Now, we saw inklings of this right here, this ability to leg pummel, move side to side, so crafty with the guard passing.
Just like that.
It's very fluid. It's like pretty guard passing.
It's chain passing,
yes,
but it's elegant, yeah, for sure. You know, it's just really, really nice technique. And the gear is, again, he was almost going to step over to the other side. He forces a reaction one way, he goes the other. And, you know, that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, right? You don't always have to power your way through an obstacle. Like Bruce Lee says, water, you can flow or it can crash. But the same thing in jiu-jitsu. You find an obstacle, you just flow on by.
Yeah, I thought of guard passing like opening a door. Some people are quite all right with beating the door down until it opens. And some people want to unlock it. I feel like Yonakura rather, is more of an unlocker.
Oh, nice work in just moving around there, nearly into the leg drag position. Could still clear that near side knee.
Another draw.
We'll run out of time, and it's another 2-2 round.
Round 2 declared a draw.
Universal Fighters team going to work in the corner there with Tamiev. And here's a look, there's that takedown. So that's twice now that Tamiev has been able to score takedown points early in the round. And twice that Yonakura has answered back with sweep points via leg entanglements.
Oh, that is most definitely a tap. I'm willing to say it.
I want to see it again.
I want to see that replay again. If the guy in the replay truck could give us that replay one more time, I would very much appreciate it.
Oh, we don't have time. I really would love to see that one more time just to...
And you know how Leone saw the replay on the big screen, too.
Yeah, it looked like the hand came back and he swatted at something, but it's like there was nothing to tap on. I don't know. It's kind of strange.
Well, it didn't help that he was wincing in pain.
I probably would on a belly down ankle lock from Daiki Yonakura as well.
Oh, look at that. Magomed Bektemiev blitzing into what looked like the start of a guard pass. It's all tied up, so the winner of this match will establish the lead once again for either team.
Yanakura earlier in the round now going after the legs, and whereas he was quite patient and coming up later in each round to score the sweet points, we're still in the no points period, but I feel like maybe he's more confident in his ability to finish via leg lock. Yes, he does.
Outside heel hook.
I said he was more confident in his ability to finish via leg lock. As Tamiev tapped via outside heel hook.
I just got word from Chief Judge Oljas Hasanov that gave Leone the victory because one of the athletes from Universal Fighters has to pull out.
Wow, so Leone, even though they only have 3 wins, apparently there will be a forfeit on the behalf of Universal Fighters later, meaning that now that's it.
Бұл жекпе-жекте жеңіс келетін Leone командасының балуаны Daiki Yonekura.
1 minute and 37 seconds of the second round for third round for Daiki Yonekura. The heel hook victory, and Leone, well, they have heard themselves that there is the forfeit, so they are through to the final of the Champions League in 2025. Excuse me, the final, they're through to the Champions League in 2025. Leone will join Team Eurotrash, Kasai, Checkmat, 10th Planet in the 2025 Champions League, thanks to submissions such as this right here from Daiki Yonekura, the outside heel hook. Catches the heel, and as Tamiev falls to the mat, here's a good look. So it's the outside Ashi, increasing the column position, bridges his hips, lifts his hips up, the heel comes off the floor, catches the heel, and as the hips drop back down, it only adds to the effect of the heel hook, and Tamiev has absolutely nowhere to go. And Daiki Yonekura was extremely happy. 1 minute and 37 seconds of the third round. There it is, another look, and Tamiev. Yeah, there was a lot of power going through that. And Yonekura, so happy and so stoic the rest of the time.
Lucas Canard to the stage.
Тоқсан бір келіге салмақ дәрежесіндегі қызыл бұрышқа Leone командасының балуанын шақырамыз. Lucas Canard.
Fighters representative Magomed Abdulkadirov will not be able to continue in the competition. Therefore, out of the red corner, representing Leone the victor, and giving Leone the victory, Lucas Canard!
Оның қарсыласы орындаған себептен жеңіс Lucas Canardқа беріледі.
So just to make it official,
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
we will continue.
it's time for the final bout of the evening. Introducing first, out of the red corner, representing Leone, PJ, the Butter Panther Bar!
Hürmetli hanımlar ve kızlar, bizim turnirimizin sonuna çekmece kırılsınamız. 83 kg salmak derecesi. Kızıl buruşta Leone komandası bakıra PJ Barch.
And his opponent in the blue corner, representing Universal Fighters, Antilop Eldar!
Kremlin kuruşuna onun karşılasını şakramaz. Universal Fighters komandası bakıra Eldar Hatula.
This is the final bout of our time here in Astana, Kazakhstan, and what better way to end it than with PJ Barch and Eldar Adilov. Eldar has looked very impressive all weekend representing Universal Fighters. PJ traded spots with Joseph Chen in the second round of Leone's trek towards the final.
Yeah, they were both in the under 83 kilogram representatives. So PJ came out in the first round against Italia 2.0. Joseph had a run when they went up against the brothers team. And PJ back onto the mats for this match against the very tough, as you mentioned, Eldar Adilov of Universal Fighters. And to be honest, Joseph, of course, is very, very capable of going up against anybody in the world. But you can definitely say that PJ Barch, his style of wrestling synthesized with jiu-jitsu, you have to think it's a great game to go up against somebody from Dagestan, and it's a great, stylistically, it's perfect. It's tailor-made for competing in AIGA.
You had mentioned how interesting it is that he is competing for Team Leone.
I talked to him about it. I asked him about it yesterday afternoon because PJ's a 10th Planet guy, and after the qualifier and lost the best guys, including the ones who were unavailable for the qualifier, he said, I'm bringing PJ Barch for sure. And then a couple of weeks later, I see PJ's name on the poster for Leone, and I asked, beautiful throw by. I asked what that was about, and PJ told me, he's like, listen, before Eddie even asked me, I had already committed to Leone. I'd already agreed to be part of this squad. I'd trained with the Leone team at a camp in Bali, and they said, we'd love to have you on our team, and he said yes. And then Eddie called him afterwards, and he's like, I'm sorry, man of my word. So you have to respect that. And now Leone are confirmed that they will go through to the 2025 Champions League. There's a strong chance that PJ is going to have to fight one of his teammates should Leone go up against 10th Planet. But
you saw like Ruslan Abdullayev fought two of his friends out there. One of them is an old rival. The other one seemed like they were very friendly. They were having a good time out there. It didn't seem so much like a super serious competitive fight as much as it was almost like a roll.
Let's wait and see about that when $500,000 is on the line for a winning team.
No, I'm contrasting it. I'm saying that it can be fun, but
it can be fun.
Obviously, it's also probably very stressful.
PJ's got a great wrestling pedigree. I mean, he's a resident of San Diego, and he's a pretty chill guy. Dropping back into the seated guard in double guard when you speak to him, but he's actually. He's Pennsylvania born and raised, and the wrestling pedigree out there. Those guys, they grew up wrestling, and he wrestled all the way through the Scholastic program. He said that he kind of lost his way a little bit when it came to the college scene, and discovered other entertainment than the grind of the wrestling mat. So jiu-jitsu for him was perfect because coming up wrestling and loving it so much, but then getting distracted and missing his shot at becoming a decent wrestling athlete competitor. He's like, hey, jiu-jitsu fills that wrestling-shaped hole in my life. And man, he has just excelled. He's one of the best-known guys in this weight division for a reason.
It's important to note PJ Barch incurred a penalty
For the guard pull. Because you can only pull with no penalty in the opening 2 minutes of each round. I wonder if he realizes that. Not that he even wants to, of course, but PJ can afford to lose this match because Leone are already confirmed as the overall winners. But of course, he's not going to just go out there and go through the motions. He's going to try and win. Adilov. That half guard. Passing again, but he's going to have to be careful because look at this. PJ has got the scoop grip on the leg and he's... Well, it's pretty obvious what he's going to try for, but 20 seconds remain. That's the end of the first round.
Round 1 goes to Universal Fighters.
Жекпе-жектің бұл кезеңде жеңіске Universal Fighters командасы жетті.
He was thinking, oh, I'm going to see what the leg lock game is like on this guy.
I think that PJ might not have known that he was going to get penalized for the guard pull.
Yeah.
Definitely a very smart competitor. So,
because AIGA is one of the only federations, the only organizations that does penalize guard pulls with a negative point.
ADCC being the other one.
Yeah, and
that's
even though it's the high-level tournament that PJ is a veteran of, you don't compete in it that often, so it's not a habit that you develop.
Does CJI penalize for guard pulling or no?
So there are no points.
Oh, yeah. It's 10-9. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, huh?
PJ, very casual in his approach to Adilov. And Adilov, do you think he's aware of PJ's pedigree as a wrestler? Because he's not risking anything. He hasn't initiated any wrestling attacks yet.
You know, I think another strength of the Dagestan competitors is that they truly do not care who's in front of them. They have absolutely no worry in the world. They have a lot of confidence. And that's, you know, probably due to the rough environment, the incredibly intense training.
Great observation. Back into the center, thankfully, way away from us.
Oh, and PJ shucks up the double unders.
Oh, right on the edge of the mat. Solid body lock takedown into side control as well. He's so good at that. That was a heavy thud as well.
That was a rough takedown.
And not just the impact of PJ's weight driving him down, but kind of landing onto the clasped hands in the middle of your back.
That's what I was thinking.
PJ's in a great attacking position here, and you know he got 2 points. I'm wondering.
That's a hard platform too.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that should have been, under AIGA rules, a clean takedown. You do see that sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Speaking of clean takedowns, one of the most, I would say, prolific moments of PJ Barch's blossoming career was when he got the clean takedown versus JT Torres at ADCC 2022. Now we see him here at AIGA, a well-established household name. I would say even a fan favorite. He was the #1 seed in PGF World Season 6. Just become a very loved competitor in the community.
So I just confirmed that had it happened after the points period had been called, it would have been a clean takedown, 4 points. But in the initial 2 minute period, because we don't really see them very often, so I'm not sure. I had to check, but yeah, in the initial 2 minutes, only takedown point score, but it's only 2 points regardless of the kind of takedown.
PJ's looking to take that knee over into the 3/4 mount. You can see him digging up that left overhook to bring that knee through.
Listen, if anybody knows what to do against a lockdown, it's going to be a 10th Planet black belt like
Yeah.
PJ Barch.
Is PJ the only 10th Planet guy here today?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Can't even go to Kazakhstan without one of them coming with. I'm just joking. 10th Planet's amazing.
Look at that forward pressure. There
Yep,
he
and
goes.
there it is.
It's
Ends up
not
getting-
flat on the mat, though. It's on the body. He hasn't put it onto the mat to a full mount. And now the other leg is trapped.
And he's dealing with the deep half guard.
Yeah, Adolov did a really good job of a very, very late stage guard recovery there. Lost the lockdown on the one leg, but was able to trap the half guard on the other. PJ's in really strong control here, though. Going for the Kimura now.
trap. Throwing that leg over. Might just ball out on the Kimura here. It's looking like
Gets
it,
a
and that's
submission.
it.
PJ Barch with a second round Kimura. A formality and still an important win with 141 left of the second round.
Your winner, PJ, the Butter Panther Bar!
Получили финишем база Leone командасының балуаны PJ Barch.
So it was the Kimura at 3:19 of the second round for PJ Barch. Leone. Let's take a look at the replay right here. Locks up that double top wrist lock from the half guard and didn't even need to free his trap leg. Was able to bring the shoulder off the mat. And then in that kind of like the paintbrush motion, you see him take the hand up towards the middle of the back, creating great rotational pressure through the shoulder joints and forcing Adolov. Man, he actually had the knee and the shin on the neck. Didn't even pass it over the head. That was a gnarly finishing position and then absolutely dead to rights Kimura. Well, we'll line them up now for the final presentation of the two teams. Make this official. Leone are going to the Champions League in 2025 for their chance to fight for $1 million prize fund. We'll see them return.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the presentation of the award, we would like to welcome AIGA CEO, Bulagin Kumarov.
Ал енді ортаға осы AIGA грэпплингтің халықаралық федерациясының қалаушысы және президенті Төлеген Құмаров мырзаны шақырамыз.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and going to the 2025 AIGA Champions League, Team Leone!
Құрметті ханымдар мен мырзалар, келесі 2025 жылы өтетін AIGA Чемпиондар Лигасының финалына жолдамасын ұтпаған Leone командасы.
Athletes, you may now shake hands.
Құттықтаймыз. Congratulations. Аса қадірменді спортшылар қауым, сіздерге шын жүректен келгендеріңізге көңіл аударып, қолдау көрсеткендеріңіз үшін шын жүректен рахметімізді айтамыз.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the AIGA Champions League Astana, Kazakhstan Asia Qualifier here at the Beeline Arena. We will be back next year, 2025, to find out which team will win the $500,000. Tune in. It'll be live on Flow.